Welcome to Signature Required. It is intended for Tennesseans by Tennesseans. The heart of a Tennessean, the volunteer state, is serve, and we do so largely without self-promotion.
And these are genuine people that get up every day and want to make art, or want to educate the nations, or want to have a heart of love in a way that makes a difference.
Learn from 50 years of experience, take a nugget away, and then go share it with a friend. Ellen Liston, Public Relations Manager from Dollywood. Welcome to Signature Required.
It's so great to be. What a treat to be here, surrounded by trees. Especially, there's a flocked tree here, which we've found we share a love of. So very exciting.
Yeah, I really love a flocked tree. So like for those that are just listening that aren't watching, we have a fabulous flocked tree beside us here.
Truly fabulous. Just close your eyes and imagine it. And that's what it looks like.
Carly, for those that don't know what a flocked tree is, why don't you describe for our listeners what a flocked tree is for those that have no idea?
It's such a perfect version of torture. It is a tree with little shards of plastic styrofoam to make it look like snow, that if you move said tree in any way, explode off the tree and cover every surface area of your entire house.
See, and I just think it's magic snow, don't you?
Absolutely.
Right.
Beauty is pain, you know? So that's a...
I love that for you. At least you got one here in the studio.
Ellen, we have been really excited to have you on because Dollywood, in so many ways, has become the place for not just Tennesseans to go, but like a big part of the country. You all are ranked the #1 theme park on TripAdvisor now, right?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We've actually been #1 3 of the past 4 years.
Wow.
And we were #2 that year. And we lost out to our sister park, Silver Dollar City, which is owned by the same parent company. But I think it's a huge testament, obviously, to Dolly. We call her our dreamer in chief. Isn't that the greatest title ever?
Oh, that
it's
is
the greatest. But it's a huge tribute to her. It's a tribute to really the state of Tennessee. It's a great place. There's nothing like the Smoky Mountains. And there's nothing like, I'm a native Tennessean, so to me, there's nothing like this state. And I think it's a great testament to our whole state that people want to come here. They love the people. They love the atmosphere. And then we add just a little bit of that wonder of Dolly and her just essence and what she represents. And our employees, we call them hosts because when you come to Dollywood, we want you to feel like you're being hosted. And probably the #1 question I get is Dolly here?
Oh, I bet.
Is Dolly at Dollywood today? And actually, Dolly is at Dollywood every day because it's her dreams, her aspirations, her Smoky Mountain spirit, and she instills that in us. And so what better job to have than you get to represent what Dolly stands for every day. And that's kind of what Dollywood's all about.
I love that. You couldn't have picked two better things to impress Spence Patton than being #1 on TripAdvisor, because he has this sneaky gift to like deep dive on TripAdvisor and find true gems. Like it's like a interesting part of his persona. He'd be like, "Oh, let me TripAdvisor," and 45 minutes later, he's still down the rabbit hole.
I admire that about you. I like that.
But also, sneaky fact, the Pattons are amusement park people. We would take a restful holiday to an amusement park any day. It just is like fills our bucket. So the fact that you have the TripAdvisor stamp for the #1 amusement park is like the most impressive accolade.
You know, I think that one of the things that we are so proud of that is that it's people like you. It's families, it's couples, it's friends that want to just get away from the everyday grind of life and have some fun and add a little Dolly in there, and it almost makes it perfect.
And some cinnamon bread.
And cinnamon bread.
You didn't bring any, did you?
No. If I had, it would have either been eaten in the car or eaten at my niece's house. Her husband would have been like, ooh.
That stuff is like Dolly magic.
It's a little bit addictive, but if you've got to be addicted to something, cinnamon bread, not a bad thing.
Girl.
But I think that TripAdvisor designation is so special because it's people like you saying, wow, this has been a great experience. For years, especially our Christmas festival, they actually retired the award for best Christmas event at a theme park worldwide because nobody else could win it. And they changed the voters and everything. No, it was still Smoky Mountain Christmas. Wow. And getting accolades from your peers, as y'all know, that's so it's impactful. It's impactful to everybody involved. But for the people that come and visit you and pay hard-earned money to come, say, we'd rather come here than any other theme park. That's been just a game changer for us. And for Tennessee as a whole, too.
I feel like Dolly is having a moment that I don't know in American history that there has been such a universally beloved figure as Dolly. Like everything associated with her is just booming right now. Like a residency in Vegas, a musical at Belmont up the road, the success of her brand and what she has done. Like it transcends political barriers. It transcends social barriers. It really is wild. Like what a incredible privilege it must be to be responsible for the public relations for such a significant aspect of her brand. One that, is probably one of the leading brands that if someone's going to interact with Dolly right now, it's probably through what you're responsible for. So does that ever just wash over you for a moment to say, I am really kind of steering American history in some ways for what is going on with Dolly right now?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Working at Dollywood, with it being such a big part of Dolly's dreams, when it started when she was a kid, is a huge privilege. It's a very unique privilege. So, there are days I'll have to get up really early or at work really late, but you're seeing people create these memories that they're going to carry with them. And Dolly started all that. And it's very impactful for me personally. But more than anything, it is a huge privilege, I think, for all of us that work there to get to, in some small way, represent her and what she stands for. And then, I have a great nephew, and he has started to get Imagination Library books. And I was fortunate enough to be on the team that kicked that off.
And will you describe what it is for those that don't know? It's incredible.
So the Imagination Library, Dolly, everyone knows, she's just literally has the biggest heart. It's probably bigger than the whole world, and she's always looking for ways to help others. So she started the Dollywood Foundation and did a couple of different programs, but wanted to know, how am I going to make the most impact down the road? And one of the ideas that came back through the foundation to her was, kids that are brought up reading and with their own books create a love for learning, for reading. And Dolly talks very openly about the fact that her dad was the smartest man she ever knew, but he couldn't read and write. And she always wondered, what could he have been if he had had that opportunity? And this is a tribute to her dad, which I love too, because I love my dad. And she listened, which I also think is one of the things I love so much about her, is she listens to everyone's ideas and then sees how that's going to be the best thing to do. So when they said, this is probably the best opportunity to make the most impact, and she said, let's do it. And so it started very small, started in Sevier County, which is where Dollywood is located, in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. And she, we had funding, she generated all that initial funding. And I think the original dream was statewide for the Dollywood Foundation. But, that's not Dolly. Dolly always thinks bigger. And so now there are Imagination Libraries in all 50 states and communities. It's partially funded by the community or sponsors now. And Some states are fully funded. Tennessee is fully funded. Kentucky, North Carolina, quite a few are. And she has said that, and kids get a book a month until they reach kindergarten. So it's 60 books. So y'all have 4 kids.
Oh, we have a lot of Miss Dolly books in our house.
And just because your oldest got them doesn't mean your youngest doesn't get their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, this is my own supposition, by the way, I think that because she was one of 12 kids, she always had to share things and had hand-me-downs, and it was real important for her. Every child got their own imagination library. Whether you're a triplet or you're the youngest of 4 kids, you get your own stuff from Dolly. And she says the 2 things she hopes she'll be remembered for, and this just shows her humbleness and her good heart, is being a songwriter, a storyteller, and being known as the book lady, which I think is so precious.
She's so sweet.
So let's talk for a second about Dollywood. For those that haven't been, a lot of our listeners have been, and undoubtedly are eager to learn the secrets that you're going to share about the park later. But for those that don't have context, haven't been, why don't you just talk about some of the roots of it, some of the history, and just why it is kind of the beloved place that it is. And then we'll go into some other things beyond that. But let's explain what it is to start.
So Dollywood is a theme park, and not everybody even knows that, which is interesting about our brand. But Dollywood started, obviously, as a dream of Dolly's. We actually turned 40 years old this year. It's our 40th anniversary season, but even before we opened in 1986, Dolly infamously was on a Barbara Walters special. And Barbara Walters asked her a typical question. Barbara Walters, the famous interviewer, I guess would be her title, asked Dolly, what's next for Dolly Parton? Do you have any other big dreams? She had just finished 9 to 5, the movie, been nominated for an Oscar, all kinds. She'd crossed over, all kinds of great things for her. And she goes like, oh, yeah. She said, my next big dream is I want to open a theme park in my hometown. I can provide good jobs for people. I want to give my family a place where they can entertain and people can come just have fun, make memories. And Barbara Walters was like, sure, that's fun. And so there has been a theme park there since the early 60s. And the Hershend family, who owned Silver Dollar City, and now we have all kinds of great family entertainment properties. But they heard she wanted to do this, and they were like, it'd be a great idea to go in partnership with her, have many of the same values as her. And another smart thing about Dolly, as if there weren't enough, she was like, I know about music, entertainment, family fun, come from a big family. I know what families would like. Think of my nieces and nephews would like. They know how to run a theme park. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's one of the most brilliant things about Dollywood is she was like, I'm going to bring my talents. You're going to bring your talents. And I'm going to let you do what you do best. And I'm going to do what I do best. And so the first year, Parkton has doubled. The first year, there were about 1.3 million visitors. This past year, we were 3.23, something like that. Grown just a little bit, grown in acreage, but we have 165 developed acres. We have world-class roller coasters. If you like to be thrilled, we've got that. Me, not so much. So I love the Dollywood Express train, and I love the carousel, and I love our shows. We have incredible entertainment. I'm a little biased, but I would say our food is second to none. So we have a great team of chefs on our culinary staff, and we not only have the amazing cinnamon bread, but every festival, which we're kind of known for those now too, has its own festival food. So they get to have a little fun. So it's kind of Southern comfort food with an Appalachian flavor and then just some creativeness, which that kind of describes Dolly too. Yeah. So no matter what you want in a fun day or more. We also have a water park, and we have 2 resorts that are all connected. So if you want to come and never leave our property, you can do that. But you'd kind of be remiss if you don't at least spend a little time in the Great Smoky Mountains. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. But Dollywood's secret sauce is really 2 things. It's obviously Dolly and the Smokies, which kind of go hand in hand. But it's also our people who kind of go the extra mile, and you never are surprised by what our hosts do. Perfect example. A couple of years ago, my family had come to Dollywood. They lived near Bristol, and my cousin lost her prescription sunglasses, and literally, and they were like Ray-Bans. They had just gotten them a couple of weeks before. She goes, Al's going to kill me. He's just going to kill me. Here's where the last time was that I saw them, and it was like in the middle of the day that she remembers having them. And so I said, I'll go to the park in the morning and see if I can find them. Oh yeah. One of our people that cleans the restrooms had found them, taken them to Lost and Found, like an hour after she remembers not having them. And while our rides are phenomenal, our shows are great, the food is delicious, cinnamon bread just is kind of a world of its own. Those are the things people remember. And that's, to me, what makes it so special.
I think you're so right, because we, again, are theme park people. And we've been to the big and the small and all over the place. And we love a roller coaster, just like love a roller coaster. But there is something about Dollywood where you get in there, and it's uniquely Tennessee, where
very
everyone
uniquely
is so kind. And they don't rush you. Like, you can take your time, and people move at your pace, and you feel like they have all day to be there with you. And it's so clean and lovely. Like, I would go back to Dolly every week if I could. I just think it's lovely, and the setting is so good, and my kids had so much fun, and I felt safe running around. If they get 100 paces in front of you and then want to run back, you're not like, oh, where's my kid? You know that they have this freedom and this safe environment. But one thing, Spence, we haven't done, which I think in this moment I'm like really bummed about, is we've never been at Christmas. You know, when you've got little kids, trying to get to all the Christmas programs and wrap all the things and make sure they have their concert attire and whatever.
It's a lot.
But now I'm kind of like, what have we been doing with our lives? They had to retire the award for Best Christmas Festival, and we haven't even seen this thing. So for those of us hooligans that have never gotten to see it, what is Dollywood like at Christmas?
So I would not label you a hooligan just because you haven't been there at Christmas. But so the Christmas festival itself started 35 years ago. And
like within 5 years of Dollywood being Dollywood,
it had
Christmas.
grown that much. And it was something that Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, and Sevierville and Dollywood said, it'd be great to extend our season. It'd be great for the economy. It'd be great for the people who live here, who work here. What better place to try to expand than into Christmas? Everybody kind of came together. And I remember, so I started the year after Smoky Mountain Christmas started. So I started in the second season, and I started in the Christmas season, which was fun too. And I remember the first time I went, I thought, wow, when you're a little kid, you think, if I could just have the perfect Christmas place, like if I could step into a snow globe, what would I want with my perfect Christmas land? I'd have music. I love, all the Christmas carols. I know all the verses, like To the First Noel and Oh Come All You Faithful. My best friend knows a verse in Latin, by the way, just, to throw that in there, right? I love all that stuff. So I love the music, the traditions. I love lights. I love a gingerbread cookie. I love just that sense of being together and experiencing things that maybe next year will be different, but you have those memories. And that's what Dollywood is. And then we throw in things like, if it's not too cold, the rides still run. And on the weekends, we have fireworks. And we have a little something for everybody. So whether you're very spiritual and you want to even add to that meaning of Christmas, we have a chapel at Dollywood, which is very unique for a theme park. And we have Sunday services there. And we have carolers that sing every evening after it gets dark. And we have a nativity. And then we have parts of that in our shows. If you have a teenager who maybe is kind of at that age where they're like, I'm not really sure I want to be with my family. Totally. You can get on a ride. And then they'll do something you want. So I think that it's that just the wonder of Christmas when you're a kid. You truly become like a kid again at Christmas. And you especially do that at Dollywood. And you can see Santa. I'm still working on the nice list. I think I'm almost there, but I got a little work to do, I think. So we'll have to check in with him on the 23rd before he goes on his mission.
I asked my son who in our family was on the nice list and who was on the mean list or on the bad list. And he got really big eyes and he was like, Mama, will I be put on the naughty list if I tell you who is on the naughty list?
That's a really good point.
And I was like, here I am corrupting our 6-year-old just because I wanted him to.
I think it was an innocent question as a mom. To be fair, with 4 kids.
I just wanted to hear what dirt he had on his sisters, like a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But good.
He had too much integrity to tell me who was on the naughty list.
That shows you're raising him right there.
Depends on the day. Wait, I do have to ask, how many trees at Dollywood are flocked for those of us that have strong opinions about flocked trees?
So the great thing about Dollywood being an outdoor attraction is sometimes they're naturally flocked. Like we've had some snows and talk about gorgeous.
What a concept. You don't have to spray them with styrofoam.
Correct. But I think that one of the other things that's so beautiful about Smoky Mountain Christmas at Dollywood is that when you go to different areas of the park, every area has a little bit different look. So in the first years that we had Smoky Mountain Christmas, the children's areas, so since you've been there, down where Country Fair is, it becomes Peppermint Valley. So we did different things down there, but it came back as Peppermint Valley this year, and I was so excited because it just so says Christmas. Everything's red and white. And then up near the chapel in our Craftsman's Valley area, it's kind of an older area. It looks more like an old-fashioned Christmas. The lights are gold and white and silver. It kind of have that. There's stars around the church that are just gorgeous. And then we turn the area where a lot of the rides are. Wilderness Pass becomes Glacier Ridge. So everything is white and silver and blues and hues of that. You kind of go through a tunnel of those lights. And then on the other end of that, when you leave Craftsman's Valley, you go through lights that they're even pretty in the daylight, but there becomes magically mist from the mountains, the Smoky Mountains, and it's our kind of version of the Northern Lights with different colors of lights, and then they change color as you're walking through them. And one of the things I love to do is when I'm back, say 20 feet from where those begin, and just people looking up at them and watching them. And they literally could be 2 or 92. And the effect is the same. And that's just really special. So technically no flocked trees. We do have a few in some shops. But sometimes we have Mother Nature's flocking, which is
my preferred version.
Which is even more beautiful. But yes. I'm still over here with it.
One of my favorite things about what Dolly has envisioned for the park is how much employment that park creates. Like there's real intentionality around providing jobs in a community that didn't have a lot to speak for and not a lot going economically. And not only has that park, through just the labor inside the park, But when you look at the kind of second and third order effects of all of the hotels and Airbnb and restaurants, can you just take a moment to speak to that too? Because I love seeing an entrepreneurial story where an entrepreneur makes it big, but they never forget where they came from. And she really captures that theme so well in what she does. So I would love to hear more, just anything that you think is worth adding on to that.
I think it's a great tribute to Dolly's vision. She, even as a young performer, looking ahead, she never just looked at what I'm doing next month or even this year. She always had that vision of what she wanted to be, what she wanted to do with her career, but honestly, what she wanted to do for others, which is just the incredible thing about her spirit. And so that was one of the, when most people say, I want to do this, it's kind of all about them having a dream or a vision. And even in that Barbara Walters special that she did 4 years before Dollywood opened, she said, I want to open a place that will create jobs for the area. I want to open a place that will be a great place for my whole family to be able to entertain and kind of she gets to show them off,
Yeah.
Never in that was it, I want it all about me. And that in itself tells you so much about Dolly. And it has been an incredible boon to that area, obviously. And, across from Dollywood's Dreammore Resort, there is like a gas station and a Burger King. And imagine what great business they do, because they're right across from that. It's your last, like if you're getting ready to leave, like there's a gas station right there. And there's an official word for it. I don't remember what it is, but that what you're just talking about, whether you work at Dollywood Parks and Resorts or you work in Pigeon Forge, that a lot of that is attributed to that dream of Dolly Parton's to bring all that to the area. And sometimes when I travel and talk about Dollywood in other states and somebody says, well, I'm not really sure, this is just a fun story. It's a huge business story. Yeah. And when you think about the state of Tennessee, Sevier County, where Dollywood is located, is the 20th most populated county. And we are number 3 in sales tax revenue back to the state as a county. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So other than the Nashville area and the Memphis area, which are, huge metropolitan areas, it's Sevier County that's next. And I think, that's something we're all proud of. And it's something Dolly can be proud of, that she gave. I mean, I've had a great career and a great work life doing something fun that I enjoy doing, but also I get to help people every day, either with something they are interested in or help them make memories. And that's all because of Dolly and her vision.
Dolly's story, I think, brings not only economic development to Sevier County and to different people, I think she also brings dignity back to the American worker by being so authentic in talking about her childhood and the story. There's my mom and I talk about this every year, the song Hard Candy Christmas, which she wrote based on her childhood, where they didn't have anything, but her mama could make hard candy because it's basically sugar and water, and that's what the kids would get at Christmas. And we listened to it on the radio, and I remember my mom saying, Carly, that's not just a song. Like, we had hard candy Christmases growing up. And that just still speaks to the story of my mom and to different family members that have to work really hard and I think get overlooked or feel less than. And I think she, in that same Barbara Walters interview, defended what Miss Barbara called hillbillies, and she said they are the hardest working, most intelligent people I know. And I just really appreciate that Dolly brings dignity to everyone's story. And there's no one too fancy because she loves her rhinestones, and there's no one who loves simple things that she won't honor with her storytelling.
And I think that being a hillbilly is kind of cool. Like, I'm a hillbilly, proud of it. I used to always say I speak two languages, English and hillbilly, and it's really kind of true. And Dolly said that. I remember Minnie Pearl, I can't remember the exact quote, but said, you should always sound like where you came from, because there's joy in that. There's not just pride in that, but there's joy in where you came from. And nobody exhibits that better than Dolly. And we have this big theme park, and we welcome millions of people every year, and we employ a lot of people. It all goes back to we're there to help people create memories. And if we're not doing that, we're not doing our job. And it's everybody's job. So, those days that I'm at Dollywood and I'm maybe between working with the media crew or I might be going to the bakery for something. Who knows what that would be. Or somebody wants a Dolly t-shirt and I'm going to get one for them. And somebody is holding a map and they just have that look. And, a lot of times it's a mom and she's got a couple of kids running around and dad's, trying to wrangle the other one. And I'm like, hey, do you need help finding anything? And she's like, I don't even know where we are. And they've just walked in. And I'm like, the map is a little confusing. And then you're like, where do you want to go? What do you want to see? What do you want to do? Do you have some daredevils? Do you have some chickens like me? And then you talk to them and you kind of tell them what to expect. Maybe they want to know what to eat, when to eat, what's the best deal. And you can almost see them looking at you like, why in the world are you talking to me? Like, why didn't you just keep walking? And I grew up in a very small community and everybody knew everybody. And, sometimes that's good. Sometimes not so much. But everybody's your family and everybody takes care of one another. And years ago, I was asked, what is it like to work at such a big company? And I'm like, I don't feel like I work at a big company. I feel like I live in a small town. And I may see a host that I've never seen before, but they're hosts, they have a name tag, and we kind of wave and smile at each other. And it's just that atmosphere that's contagious. And I don't even think it's take pride. It's just, that's what we do. That's what we are called to do. And that's what, if Dolly was there watching us, that's what she would expect of us because that's what she would do. But, it might be a little harder in the heels and, she gets recognized. So she leaves that part up to us.
Ellen, if we have some like hardcore Dollywood, they go every year listeners here, then
which I feel sure we do.
I do, and that's why I've got to bring a specific piece for them. Is there anything that might be a secret, anything that might be something that even those that go every year might not know about? Is there something that you could share?
Okay, I love this question. That's one of my favorite things to tell people. So when we started having big anniversaries, like for the 25th anniversary of Dollywood, every team was challenged to come up with something just for that season that was going to be special. So our culinary team came up with a 25-pound apple pie, which we still have. Because it was so popular, and it comes. You can purchase either the whole thing, and I'm not exaggerating. So, for those of you in Radio Land that can't see this, there's a table in front of me, and it's cooked in a cast iron skillet about the size of this table.
Oh my gosh, that's like 5 feet across. Yeah.
It might be a little small. I might tend to exaggerate Okay, maybe it's not
We're going
quite
with
that
5
big,
feet.
but anyway,
We're going. It's maybe 7, Ellen. It's going to be 7 feet now.
12.
yeah, whatever you want it to be.
That's
Just
right.
imagine that, and you're here. You know what? How big it is? It's big.
Yeah.
So it's like a cast iron skillet, and it's 25 pounds of pie once it's baked. Okay, it's like 35 to 40 apples,
Oh my gosh.
and of course it had the crust on top. You know, it's the latticed crust on top with a little butterfly, of course, in the crust. But I'm digressing. So it was so popular, we'd still have it. And you can either buy the whole pie or you can buy a slice at a time, which will feed literally 4 to 6 people. It's literally this big. So for the 30th anniversary, they were like, what can we do that's going to be impactful? And they decided that anyone who was an original employee, so had been there all 30 seasons, was going to get a plaque that told a story about their employment. So, for example, our former general manager, who has since retired, was a big car guy. He was very instrumental when we added the Jukebox Junction, the 1950s area. We still have a few of those cars out there. Oh my gosh, he was like everywhere trying to find these cars. And so when he had his 30th anniversary, and his wife, of course, I mean, he, as you can imagine, worked a lot of hours. So he wanted his wife incorporated into it, but they were allowed to give some ideas of what they might like, because a lot of them had worked in different places. And somewhere on these plaques, it has their name. A lot of them, if they had a spouse or a child work there, is incorporated into the plaque. It's something that they worked on, and it somewhere hidden in there is the year they started. I remember he started in 87, so it either had 87 cents, $87, something like that, incorporated into the sign. And they're all over the park. And some of them are by restrooms. Some of them are in places you might see them more. But every time I tell this story, people are like, oh, we got to look for him next time.
Yeah.
So each one of those tells not only a story, and they look just like other signage that might be there, but I love that because it tells the story of those people who gave decades of their life. And this year, on our 40th anniversary, we had, I think it was 11, it may have been a few more, that had worked all 40 seasons.
Wow.
3 of them are sisters.
Stop.
Isn't that the greatest?
That is the greatest.
Yeah.
I didn't know Dollywood, and we were born in the same year as Dollywood. We're all turning 40 this year.
See, so you're like Dollywood originals.
We should probably go and ride some Dolly coasters to celebrate this 40th year.
Yeah,
hear that.
exactly. And this year we put up plaques on everything that I think it actually says Dollywood Original 40 years. So a lot of the things that are still there.
Now, if they
got
make a
that.
40-pound chocolate cake, will you let me know?
Yeah,
Because-
or I mean, like 40-pound cinnamon bread is what you really need.
yes, keep me in the loop.
That won't be a secret, trust me.
You're gonna make sure that it's
Yeah,
not. Yeah, that is
absolutely.
definition of what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ellen, when people are thinking about where they want to go, sometimes when you've been to a place, and you've been to a place a lot of times, there can be some nostalgia with it, but there also can be like, you know what, I've kind of seen everything that there is to see. And even though you may hate that thought, it is a reality, a practicality. So what is the park doing to kind of keep things fresh and give a new reason to come back for those that have come a lot of times?
There's a couple of things that Dollywood does for that. So one of the things is we always look at what is taking place during our festivals, because we basically almost have festivals all year long. So we really listen to what our guests like. And like we kick the year off with the I Will Always Love You Festival, which of course is lots of pink, which I love. But that started 4 years ago when the song had its 50th anniversary, we thought, well, that would be a fun thing. We were looking kind of for something new. That would be a fun way to kick the season off. It was so popular, it hasn't gone away. We're getting ready to it'll kick off season again this year for its 4th year. So that's one thing, is keeping festivals fresh and adding to them, changing things that maybe have been there for a little bit. What do we need to do that's new? But keeping those things that everyone loves. So for Christmas in the Smokies, our literally landmark show during our Christmas festival, it changes. The performers change. We add some new songs, but people do not want that to change. So they want some things that they know about, to your point. Yeah. Then they want some things that are new. But they also want, if they are true theme park people and love the rides is the reason they come, they want to see new rides, and they don't want to see the exact same ride every time. So about every 3 to 4 years, we add a new ride. So it might be more geared towards families, which Big Bear Mountain, which opened in 23, was a family ride so that it could be something little ones could ride. So you only have to be 39 inches to ride it. But it incorporated things that were new. So it incorporated in-car audio, which we had never done before. It has a little zip to it.
That's a fun ride.
No, it's a family ride.
Yeah.
Because it has 3 launches. So, normally you may get a launch, then you might turn upside down. You might go 70 miles an hour, but it doesn't launch again. So that's kind of the thrill factor for that ride. Very excited. It had a huge storyline to it. And so in 2026, we're having a new ride that's very exciting, and it's called Night Flight Expedition. And first of all, since y'all are theme park people, 2 things that y'all are going to love about it before you even know what the theme of it is. It's a 5.5 minute experience during the ride.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Not the queue line part.
Sure.
Just the ride itself, 5.5 minutes. And it's what in the industry is known as a dark ride, which means it's all indoors. So it's kind of weatherproof. So it won't shut down if there's thunderstorms. If it gets colder, it's not going to matter to Night Flight Expedition, but we're really excited about it. It's going to have 4 different experiences in it. It's part roller coaster. It's part water ride. You're going to feel like you're soaring through the clouds of the Smokies at night. And then you're going to plunge into a river. Lots of other fun things. Very themed, more in-car audio. So it'll open sometime in spring of 2026. Spring's a long time. So we don't have that date yet, but very excited about that. So if maybe you haven't been in 4 or 5 years and you're like, well, if you haven't been since, let's say, 2018, we have a whole huge new area. Wildwood Grove and Big Bear Mountain and Night Flight are extensions of that area as well. So it's a lot different if you haven't been for a couple of years. But I'll have people say, well, I haven't been in a decade. I'm like, okay, you may not recognize it, except, of course, for the cinnamon bread. That's the great equalizer at Dollywood.
So I have one more Christmas question for you. In addition to the flock tree debate that takes place in the Patton household every year, it is quite controversial when one would perhaps start decorating for Christmas, right? You've got your team post-turkey, like one holiday at a time. And then you have those of us that think it should be holiday magic for an extended period. So when does Dolly start decorating Dollywood?
So, Dolly loves Christmas. So there's never too much Christmas for Dollywood. And we have over 6 million lights throughout the park during the Christmas festival. So we're only closed for 4 days between Harvest Festival and Christmas Festival. And our people are amazing, but even our people can't work that fast. So we start putting the lights up in July.
Yes.
We start with backs of buildings. No, we do not leave them up all year. The little filigrees in the lights might rust out to be on there. And then we want them all to be fresh. And if the one light goes out,
Yeah.
like we don't want that to happen.
Wait, but so what you're telling me is that it's socially
July.
acceptable to
Very.
have Christmas in July.
So we believe in Christmas in July, and we also have a Christmas shop that's open the entire time Dollywood is open starting in March. So it's never too early
Thank you.
for Christmas.
You let me down on your visions for flock trees. I'm just going to say it. However, the timeline for holiday
it's all
magic,
a give and take, right?
we are now aligned.
We are
and
now aligned
we
with
can
that.
land the plane
Yes.
knowing that we agree.
correct.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel better.
So we end every podcast with 3 short fill-in-the-blank sentences. So I will read a short prompt, and it'll have
Very
a blank
excited.
at the end. Okay? All right. Number 1. One way Dolly shapes the Christmas experience is blank.
One way Dolly shapes the Christmas experience is all the stories that are told through the different kinds of music that you hear at Dollywood.
From our time there, it is amazing how much you really do notice the music. Like sometimes you can go through areas in life and there's just stuff playing in the background, but it really does catch your attention at Dollywood. And it kind of makes you laugh as you go through different parts. Like it is more impactful in the experience than what you would expect, which is really, that's fun for the park. Number 2, one thing I hope every visitor takes away from Smoky Mountain Christmas is blank.
So one thing I hope every visitor takes away from Smoky Mountain Christmas is great memories of whoever they chose to attend with, because that's what keeps the spirit of Christmas alive in the days and years and decades to come.
And number 3, the part of the holiday festival that brings me the most joy is blank.
The part of the holiday festival that brings me the most joy is the people that come and share it with us and gingerbread cookies.
The real. Yeah. Yeah.
Ellen, it's a real treat to have you on here. Dollywood and all that is happening for Dolly as a whole, but at Dollywood too, being ranked number 1, and how many millions of people get to experience Tennessee for the first time as a part of the experience is just really, really special. And so I'm glad that you are part of the storytelling that goes into convincing people to come, whether they have come for the first time or they're returning veterans. It's no surprise to me that part of what you spent time talking about was the personality of the hosts. When Dolly has created the economic opportunity for people to be able to provide for their family and impact their community, it's a whole different reason why they greet you with a smile.
Yeah, absolutely.
She is known exclusively for being not only fair, but more than fair in how she pays, how she treats everybody. And so it's just a real treat to get to have you here and highlight the fun things that Dolly is doing for our state and our country. So I'm thinking Dolly for president. Ellen, what do you think?
Well, I think that she probably would say she can have more impact other ways, but I think that, when you work for a ray of sunshine, it's easy to shine.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It was
Okay.
great
Merry
to
Christmas.
be with you. Same. Good luck with the trees.
Ellen Liston, Public Relations Manager at Dollywood. What a great embodiment of what being at Dollywood feels like in getting to sit and talk with Ellen. She just has that spirit. Like it's so clear to me why they look and say, let's have Ellen be our representative to help tell the story of what it's like to attend Dollywood.
Oh, she was awesome. We were even chit-chatting before we got started out in the hallway. And she had the whole team cracking up. Like, everyone, I'm pretty sure, is now her best friend and wants her number and is coming over for Christmas. That's Ellen.
For those that have never been to Dollywood, I hope they give this episode a listen because it really is unlike any other experience that you get in a theme park. Like, the people that are there, the rides are really good. And a lot of times you sacrifice that. And that's really important to me. Like, I'll put everything else aside as long as the rides are really good. And a lot of times you go to those parks and you're expecting that, okay, it'll be cute and quaint, but the rides are going to be kind of crappy. But Dollywood has amazing rides, and they're investing in new ones. She told us about the largest capital investment project they're going to have in a ride. So I'm excited, but I appreciate that there's something for everybody. And our family has really experienced that. Like, it's really fun whether you are 2 or 92.
I agree. Well, and what's funny is I don't think you had been for a really long time.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we had gone when we were pregnant with Zoe and, first time parents, I was afraid to ride anything, all of that. And then I went on a girls' trip with like a good friend and their daughters and our girls, and we hadn't been back. And I remember coming home being like, babe, you have to see Dollywood. You have to. And he's like, don't, they don't really have rides, do they? I said, no, you'll love it. So when we finally got the kids there, we were so pleasantly surprised. And everything she says is not just a byline. I mean, everyone is so nice. The food is so good. The park is so clean. And there's something so uniquely Tennessee about Dollywood, about the kindness. The minute you step in, people aren't just like, here, let me snap your picture for an upcharge. They want to help you get that family photo that you may not get with the butterflies in the background. And you can see all the intricate care in all of decorations, regardless of the season. And I don't know, it's just something that makes me so proud about living in Tennessee, is it embodies that spirit in a way that few other places do.
It's fun to see someone like Dolly, who is incredibly talented musically, like clearly gifted from the Lord, but is also a phenomenally talented businesswoman.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to see the intentionality that she has around her brand, because a lot of times people that are great at music are the world's worst in business, or really much of the rest of their life, although they can sing well. But that is not the case for her, and it's really fun to see.
There's something about Dolly that I just think that there should be a class. And I know Belmont's doing Dolly classes, but I specifically would love to write a dissertation on her ability to navigate things that would blow up for anybody else. She has this way through her charm and her wit of walking through really sticky things that make people laugh. She doesn't offend people, but she also doesn't hide from saying what she knows to be true. And there are so many times that I've just honestly wanted to like channel that, is to say, hey, how can I build people up but stand my ground? And I think that that is what Dolly does. And I think one thing I really appreciated that Ellen brought to the table was talking about how she started Dollywood as a partnership. And we've talked about that here before too. So often as entrepreneurs and dreamers, you think you have to reinvent the wheel. And sometimes the most not only profitable economic way to do it, but also the way to get the biggest bang for your buck, the biggest reach, is to work with partners. And she has done that so well.